Hey guys, want to do a video on my battery storage for preppers and SHTF situations. You know, a year ago I would have never made this video. I didn't store batteries, didn't care. I always kind of lived of the philosophy that, you know, you need to learn how to get along without this stuff. But I guess as I've gotten older, you know, I've kind of come to appreciate that these things can be a very good aid in a disaster situation, especially those short-term ones, local problems and things like that. So these are a good idea, even if you are, you know, stubborn like me and just want to work on kind of like the primitive and pioneer living stuff. I think this is something you need to reconsider. So, all right. Oh, where to begin? Okay, we'll start with the alkalines first because those are probably the easiest. I typically store AA's, AAA's, and 9 volts for alkaline batteries. The 9 volts, of course, are for smoke detectors. Just because your power is out doesn't mean you want to burn to death. So I think it's very important to have 9 volt batteries spare and laying around. Very, very important. I store a lot of AA's because that's what a lot of things take. I have quite a few like little radios, tons of flashlights and things that take AA's. They're the most important. Plus also, you know, I got a toddler in the house. He goes through a lot of toys. We go through a lot of AA's. So how I buy them is I only buy made in the USA brands. I don't buy anything, you know, kind of made in China garbage. There's a major difference. And typically I buy them in either like 24 or 48 packs. And I keep them just how they are. Alkaline batteries do not need to be stored any other way than just how they come. They don't need to be cold. They don't need to be anything. Just store them how they are someplace, you know, with a regulated temperature that's going to stay dry and out of the sun. Simple as it gets, huh? You know, the good thing is a lot of these have, especially the better brand names, have pretty close to a 10-year, you know, 8 or 10-year shelf life. So these things, you can store a whole bunch of them and you can rotate them. Now, for me, a 24 pack like this will last me a month or two. You know, because we go through a lot of batteries for my son's toys. He really likes remote control cars right now, so we go through a lot of them. So we go through like I said, maybe 1 a month, maybe 2 a month. So something like this will last twice as long, of course. So what I do is I kind of figure if these things last 8 years, I can obviously store, you know, like 20 or 30 of these, but I don't have that many. So I have probably 5 or 6 of these stored away. So I got about 200, maybe 200 to 300 AA's. AA's are the same. I don't keep as many because we don't have much here that uses AA's, to be honest. So I maybe have 50 AA's and probably about a dozen or 2 dozen 9 volts somewhere. Alright, so the alkalines, like I said, they're very good at just room temperature. You don't need to store them in the fridge or anything crazy like that. They do last a long time, and the only thing bad about them is they're not good in the cold. Once you get down below freezing, these things really they don't work as good. You can definitely have some issues once you get below freezing. So next, we're going to keep to the primary batteries, and a primary is a non-rechargeable. We'll go on to CR123s, which are these little tiny little guys here. These have become really popular as of lately with a lot of the tactical flashlights, and they are a lithium-ion battery, but they are not rechargeable, which makes them very interesting because they have a lot of power. These things are 3 volts as opposed to your average alkaline, which is 1.5, and they are capable of doing quite a bit. Now, however, the capacity is not as good as a AA. The capacity on something like this is smaller than a AA. So, with that in mind, they're typically used in flashlights. A lot of tactical flashlights use them, and they're pretty popular. So I don't keep a ton of these because I think they're inefficient. The CR123s are, you know, there's not as much capacity as a AA or even an 18650 battery. So I only have a couple flashlights that only use CR123s. So I keep these little packs of like the Japanese made CR123s, like this here's a Sanyo, and here's a bag of Rayovacs, and I got a couple others somewhere, maybe 50 of them, not a ton, not much at all, guys. About 50 of those, and the cool thing about them too is they work a lot better in cold temperatures. In fact, I think they're good down to about -20 Fahrenheit. So if you are out on a cold day hunting, you're much better off bringing a battery that takes a CR123 than an alkaline, because you're going to get much better performance in the cold. The only thing I don't have here are lithium AA batteries, the Energizer lithiums. Those are also very good in the cold, but they pretty much are identical to a AA otherwise. So that's another thing you can stock up on. The only downfall to them is they're pretty expensive. I don't have many, maybe like one package, and that's about it. And that's, now that I think about it, it's probably something I should remedy. So rechargeable A's and AA's and all that jazz. So I do have a couple packages of rechargeables, and these ones here are my low self-discharge. These are some Tenergy Centuras and some Duracell Stay Charged. They have very little self-discharge. After a year, these things still hold 85% of charge, and so these things are good for long-term storage, and they work really good in high drain flashlights and high drain equipment. So if you have something that draws a lot of juice, oftentimes they will perform better with the nickel metal hydride rechargeables than they will with alkalines, because the nickel metal hydrides do better under high current than alkalines do. So that's one thing to keep in mind also. If you're not, too into the rechargeable, you also have to bear in mind it's just a better battery chemistry for high amps. And of course you can buy a solar panel. Like if you guys pay attention to my channel, I reviewed a little portable solar panel. You can get a little solar panel and a USB charger, and you can charge these things up using solar power, and you have basically a power supply for as long as the sun still shines. So, holy cow, there's some more in here. I got some Panasonics, all that jazz. Alright, so AAA's, same deal for the nickel metal hydrides. I got some regulars, some low self-discharge, and there's actually a couple of lithium ions in there as well mixed in. So we'll get to them when we get to the rest. So I keep, as you can see, probably about 12 AAA's. I've got about 12 AA's, plus these medians here, which are more of a higher capacity, but they have the higher self-discharge. So there are quite a few different options, and of course, I keep a good handful. I'm still building up. When it comes to the nickel metal hydride, I'm kind of new to them, so that's where I'm kind of working on now. Next is your lithium ion batteries, which you're going to commonly see as they're rechargeable lithium ion, we're going to say. The 18650, which are your bigger ones. You have 16340s, which are a rechargeable CR123. And mind you, they're not exactly the same. These are 3.7 volt. Those are 3, so there is a difference between them. And then you have 14500s, which are the lithium ion version of a AA. And you have the 10440s, which are, this little guy here is a lithium ion AAA. And here's the difference, guys. This is a 1.5 volt nickel metal hydride. This is a 3.7 volt lithium ion. Much more voltage. However, capacity is diminished on these compared to these. But these are high voltage, great for, flashlights and other high drain devices. So I only have 2 of the 10440s though, guys. I gotta get some more of them. As you can see, I've got 8 14500s. I've got a lot of 18650s. Those are pretty common for tactical flashlights nowadays. They are a lot of capacity. You have to bear in mind that these often can have a 3000 to 3500 milliamp hour capacity, which is quite a bit. Your average alkaline is like 2000. Your average CR123 is actually I think maybe 1500 tops, Your nickel metal hydrides are usually around 2,000. These 16340s are only like 700 or 800. The 10440s are like 350, and these are oftentimes 700, 800 milliamp hours. So these things often, one 18650 can have the juice of 3 of these, or 2 of those. So oftentimes 18650s are the most efficient. Now I have a little bit of a combination of everything. These are batteries I bought from, oh, probably GearBest. These are a Samsung 30Q. They're a high drain battery. These are very good for high amp use. So those really strong tactical flashlights, these are fantastic. And I have some like Panasonic, some more Samsungs, and some Sanyos in there. And then I have laptop poles, because you can get these out of laptops as well. So I did dig up some old laptop batteries and pulled these, and you will find some interesting things in here. This is a Samsung 28A. This is a 4.35 volt battery that is a high drain battery, and it was in a laptop battery. So it's actually a really good battery, and you know, I got these for basically junk. They were something that was going to be thrown away, and they actually ended up being good. They work really good. So all these are laptop batteries that I've pulled out of laptop battery packs. Let's see, here's another sticker, Samsung 26F, another good battery. These are some older Panasonics. There's all kinds of cool stuff in these laptop batteries. So I have a whole bunch of them. Why? Because they're free. You know, I either get them from people who are throwing away laptop batteries, or I dig them out of the recycling bins. You know, they have them at stores. Reach in and grab them. I've never had anyone tell me no. So, yeah, you know, maybe you shouldn't do it unless you're pretty brave and you got bail money, but I do it. So, so I have quite a few laptop poles. I've got 4, 8, 12, about 20, and I've got a whole nother drawer of them. So I've probably got about 40 of these. So if you take everything into consideration with the primary non-rechargeables I have, the rechargeables, I definitely have enough to keep power going for certain devices for a long time. Now if it comes to a point in my life where I ever have to gather food on a daily basis, being out at night and being able to be out at night long term is very important. So for me, I could very easily take a flashlight, or 2 flashlights, or 3 flashlights, and use them for the duration of the night for hunting, gathering food, things like that when it's quiet and other people are not capable. And by day I can charge these things with a solar charger and have power for a very, very long time. So, alright, storage. Like I said, the Alkalines, leave them how they are. CR123s, leave them how they are. You don't need to refrigerate them. Nickel metal hydrides, leave them how they are. The only thing you may want to refrigerate are your lithium ion rechargeables, because those actually do have a discharge to them, and over time they lose quite a bit. So over a course of a year or two, they can actually lose 20-30% of their capacity on a permanent basis. So the best way to store these is at a 40% charge. So I charge these up to 3.8 volts, and I store them in the fridge, in the vegetable crisper. Why? Because it's cool, it's low humidity, and studies have found, and you can look this up and Google it, that if you store an 18650 at like pretty much right around 0, and you store it at 40% capacity, that it has little to no self-discharge, because these will last a long, long time. So I can invest in these, and they're very good for long-term storage. Once again, the CR123s also have a good 10-year shelf life. A lot of these modern nickel metal hydrides have a good shelf life. I can keep myself in batteries for many, many years with just what you see here on the table. And of course, I can use that in conjunction with other simple technology, like this charger here. This thing was cheap. It was like $6-8. It works fantastic. You basically put 4 18650s in here, and it has USB ports, and you can use USB powered things for this. So I can also charge in this as well, which is pretty awesome. So this little device, which is really inexpensive, you can get these all over the place. I can hook this up to my solar charger and charge 4 18650s in it, and then I can use this to charge my phone, charge a radio, charge whatever. You know, nowadays almost everything is using the USB system for charging, and having some good USB power supplies, awesome thing to have, because you can charge things. Like if you have two-way radios, I can charge two-way radios with this as long as they have that USB input. So I can keep my two-way radios going, I can keep my radio going, I can keep flashlight going, I can keep what is it? I think we have a couple of, a couple things that around the house, tons of things that plug in via USB. I can keep them all going almost indefinitely, pretty much until these batteries give out, which may be 6, 8, 10 years, whatever, but I'm going to have power and have it for that time. And that's going to give me one massive advantage over other people. Okay, so say your guy has, 20, 30 batteries in his house, how long are they going to last? When you're out gathering food, trying to do things, you're going to have to do things at night, you're going to need to extend your work day. They're going to run out quickly. I'm going to be that guy in a year who's maintaining and still using this and still being able to go out at night to fish and hunt and gather food when everybody else is sleeping. So I think it's a big important part of your preps. It's a big important part about being ready for SHTF. It's relatively inexpensive. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And, it's kind of fun too. I like playing around with the batteries and doing all that, It's all fun, guys. So there it is. Just wanted to show you my bit of a battery stockpile. At least this is probably about half of it that I do have, and what I'm doing with it. And I store it all in an ammo can. Actually, I don't know if I have it out. Let me look. Nope, I do not have it out. But basically what I did was just took an ammo can and I drilled a couple holes in the top for blowholes and put electrical tape over them. That way, if any of these batteries do have like a meltdown or anything like that, it will be contained into the ammo can. So other than that, that's it, guys. Just a lot going on with this, and like I said, just because you are very good at primitive skills doesn't mean you may not need some electronics down the line.